Hi friend, welcome to A Table for Two with Michaela Belle, a show where personal growth isn't about fixing yourself, it's about meeting the real you. Here we talk mindset, making habits sexy, relationships, faith, friendships, and the small shifts that create a life that feels like home to you. No fluff, no pretending, just honest conversations with your new life coach that help you step into who you were always meant to be. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, pull up a chair, and let's dive in. Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back to the table. Today, we are going to be talking about friendship loss. And this is going to feel like a very vulnerable one for me because I really like to come to the podcast with almost like an expertise. Like that makes me feel really comfortable when I'm super knowledgeable and I'm doing something really well. But right now, I had a friendship loss. And it was more than one friend. It was like a group of friends. That's never happened to me before. And that happened 2 years ago, almost to the day. And it is still so raw for me and an area that I'm currently actively working to heal. I feel like I've kind of ignored it for the last 2 years because life has been crazy busy and, lots of things have happened. Moving, getting engaged, getting married, having a baby, moving to a new city, going through a custody battle, like all in a very short amount of time. So all that to say, it's not necessarily healing from that friendship loss is something I'm currently doing. So I'm not coming to you today as an expert. I'm coming to you as a friend who's going through something. And if you also have experienced friendship loss, you're going to benefit from this conversation. I truly believe it. One, in knowing that you're not alone. Adult friendships are hard. And adult friendship loss, I don't know. Do you guys feel like this? It almost feels worse than a romantic breakup. Truly. And I think that's the first thing that I'm doing right now is I'm treating it like a heartbreak, like the heartbreak that it is. And I'm focusing on healing from it. And I think one of the struggles of losing friends is that we don't grieve and we shame ourselves into thinking we shouldn't feel the way that we feel. I was minimizing the impact of it. And whenever you minimize or you push down or you disregard very real emotions, that leads to stress being buried in our body. And unresolved pain that lingers, we know this from quite a bit of research actually, of how much that affects everything from, your gut health to inflammation to massive amounts of stress within the body leads to disease and all of these things. So I'm coming to you again, just sharing my personal experience from it in hopes that maybe this helps you too. And also in hopes that you guys would comment and share if there's something that you're doing that's really helped you, or a mindset shift that you've had, or a specific like coping mechanism or something that helps you. I'm going to give you 5 specific things that I'm either currently doing or like about to do or in the process of doing. So yeah, we're just going to share ideas and we're just going to have a conversation about it. So friendship loss. Well, one, don't you guys think that adult friendships are so much harder? Right? We grow up and we're used to being around our friends every day in school or meeting someone on the playground and saying, "Hey, my name's Michaela. Want to be friends?" "Oh, yeah, I'm Amy. Sure. Yeah, let's do it." Like there's an ease to friendship as a child. There's accessibility to meeting a lot of new friends. And when you become an adult, it becomes harder. And also, we've had friendship losses or friendship pain and hurt that's probably unresolved. So as we get older, we have these scars. We have these beliefs about friendships, especially beliefs about other women, that hold us back from opening up or creating depth within friendship. But I do believe that we're all craving that, right? Like you crave being known. and being loved, and not just by a romantic partner. Like, that's great and all, but there's so much healing that can happen in friendship and community and depth with other women. I really, really do believe that. Um, Now, I've had another belief over the last couple of years that's been holding me back, which we'll talk about in a second. But anyways, if you've been feeling like a friendship loss has really hit you in the gut and you've kind of been beating yourself up of like, gosh, why am I this affected by it? It's because it's true heartbreak, just like breaking up with a boyfriend. If you're with someone for 2 years, there's a love that's there. There's an investment of your heart that's there, and your time and your love, all that. And you envision, like when I thought about marrying Ryan, these women were going to be standing next to me. Like, I had no doubt in my mind that they would be standing next to me when I got married or when I have another child. Like, they were going to be her aunties. I thought that I was going to be doing life with these people. That's what I envisioned. And when the future that you imagine, whether it's with friends or with a romantic partner, when that gets taken from you, it's important to grieve that. And over the last couple of years, I really haven't let myself totally grieve it. And now I am. I did my quarterly planning session with the Belle Collective. The Belle Collective is, I think there's just this missing piece when it comes to life coaching. There's so much power in life coaching, but it's not super accessible to a lot of people. One, because it's a huge time investment. Two, it's a huge financial investment. And we're busy, high achieving women. Like, sometimes that's just not available. So I created a community where we have quarterly workshops with monthly a private podcast. So you're getting personal development from your coach in a really easy, accessible way at a low cost. So in the Belle Collective, I was doing my quarterly planning session and just showing them what I personally do. And one of the things that I was doing was I was imagining myself at the end of June, and I just kind of let my imagination take over and my visualization take over. And I just think, like, what do I want? Where do I want to be? And one of the things that I envisioned was developing friendships again and opening my heart to friendships again. And I could sense how scared I was of that thought. And I realized how raw that wound is for me right now. And it made me realize that I have not grieved it and I have not really healed. Time has passed, but the wound is still open. And I wanted to recognize that. There's a lot of research kind of on just the power of naming something to tame it. There's a psychiatrist and author named Dr. Dan Siegel. Dr. Dan Siegel. He calls it name it to tame it. That's like the phrase that he's coined. And there's also a research study that I was reading about conducted by UCLA professor of psychology Matthew Lieberman. And they found in this study that when people feel angry, there's an increased activity in the part of the brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is responsible for it. It's also called like our emotional brain, but it's responsible for detecting fear and setting off a series of responses to protect the body and the mind from danger. And Lieberman and the team found that there was a noted decreased response in the amygdala when the feeling of anger was labeled and talked about by the participants, which in turn increased the activity in the right ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain involved in processing emotions. When you put your feelings into words, you're activating this prefrontal region of the brain. And when you activate that prefrontal region of the brain, there's a reduced response in the amygdala, that emotional part of the brain. You know how they say when emotions are high, logic is low? Well, that's actually not just like a cute saying, it's neuroscience. So when emotions are high, logic is low, the amygdala is firing, the prefrontal regions of your brain have decreased activity. And then when you invite logic, you're talking and you're processing through things, it helps to bring that amygdala activation down. So name it to tame it. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is I just started with myself saying how this whole experience feels, the emotions that I'm feeling, and journaling through prompts like, what did those friendships mean to me? What did I lose when I lost those friends? What did I learn about myself in the process of it? And it started to make sense to me because I started to write down just how much I felt like I was losing them, how much they each meant to me, how heartbreaking it was for me to lose like that vision that future that I thought that I had with them. And as soon as I started to just kind of write it out and journal through it and process through it, it's already helped me so much. And I know that's like just kind of phase one. I'm not healed because I've named it, but it does help me to give myself a space to feel a little bit safer, to kind of hear myself out, you know, which is what I wanted them to do in the process of how it all went down. Like, I don't think details are necessary. I feel like it would be gossipy, and I'm not interested in that. But things were said. I was accused of something I didn't do and wasn't given the space to share with them how what they said wasn't true. So the second thing that I've done, which was really eye-opening for me, and I think would be very important for you to do too, is to name the false beliefs that loss or hurt created for you. And when something traumatic happens, like I mentioned before, our brains try to protect us. And one of the ways they protect us is by forming stories. And those stories create beliefs, like belief building blocks. And those belief building blocks, every time you say this belief internally in your brain, you're stacking these blocks up and it creates a wall to protect you so that whatever happened to you before doesn't happen again. This could be like in dating when you say, like, there's no good men out there. Like, there's nobody left. And then your brain just kind of looks for evidence for that to be true. It's almost looking for the crappy guys on the apps. And so that every time you go on a new date, it's like, okay, see here, let me just add another building block to this story, because it's wanting to protect you. And there were some beliefs that created for me. And one of them was I can't trust women in church. Like, friendships that I develop in church are not safe. And that people will believe the worst about me without even talking to me about it. If I let people in, I'm going to get hurt again. Like, if I let friendships, like that level of friendship again happen, I'm going to get hurt. And so it's kind of, again, it makes sense why I've been so hesitant / haven't really made any deep friends lately. Which is crazy because that's so not me. It's so not me. And it's almost embarrassing for me to admit that because I'm such a community-oriented person. I mean, guys, I had a nonprofit for a couple of years, and it was all based on helping women embrace friendship. And here I am with a wall up being like, nope, don't even think about it. Nobody come near me. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been going to church lately. is it started to write the story. I started to write the story in my head about how unsafe church people are, specifically women. So I had to start writing out those beliefs. And that's why just like take a piece of paper, put a line through the middle of it. On the left-hand side, write all the beliefs that friendship loss or that pain that you've experienced in friendship. What are the stories that you're telling yourself? And then write out either what you deep down know is true or what you want those new beliefs to be. There are women out there that are safe and that are kind. Not everyone is going to abandon you if things get hard. You're not going to get rejected in every friendship. There are some people who are going to understand you. And if some shit goes down, they're not going to think the worst of you. They're going to come to you and be like, hey, is everything okay? What's going on? So there's all these things that you can write down. And also, the truth is, I'm not perfect in friendship. This whole thing has allowed me to kind of look at myself in the mirror too and say, I know that I want to be a better friend too. Which is like kind of almost a whole other conversation. But naming the false beliefs that this has created for you, and then writing down and processing through, what are the healthier beliefs that either you deep down have or you want to establish. And then the next thing I'm doing currently for me, I'm starting small, not even with opening myself up to new people, which I am. I a couple months ago, I booked, I bought a ticket to this conference for podcasting moms. And I really want to start opening myself up to friendships again, even if it's in small ways. But where I'm truly starting, guys, is I feel like I have not been a good friend to myself. I have been beating myself up lately, talking down to myself, and there's a lot that has gone down in my life that's not public. That's been a lot of private pain. I've shared some things, like the custody battle with my ex-husband and just how it kind of ripped away my dream wedding and just marrying Ryan and I've shared some things. But there are so many facets of my life that I had been struggling with. And because of those things, I've been really mean to myself. I've been feeling like I suck. I suck in friendships. I suck at my job. I suck at being a mother. I'm sucking at, being a wife. I'm sucking at bringing in enough income. Like the list goes on. I have been beating myself up. And I don't say that for you to be like, oh my gosh, no, I hate that. No. Like for validation. Like I'm just saying that to be brutally honest and vulnerable, because I think sometimes people look at me and they think I just have so much together. And there are a lot of things I do have together. There's a lot of things I will pat myself on the back for. And one of them is I am a freaking fighter. I always get back up. I have been knocked down so many times in my life, and I always get back up. And I'm really proud of myself for that. I'm proud of myself for how much I have freaking healed and worked on myself and invested in myself. I have a growth mindset. But I have been beating myself up for a little bit of time now. And so my thing that I am starting with is I want to be a better friend to me. And I know that when I'm a good friend to myself, I have this well that's full and overflowing. And I'm a better mom when I'm kind to myself. I'm a better daughter and sister and friend and business owner and podcaster and all these other quote unquote things, wife. But it's so true for us as women. We often are just pouring from this empty cup. And I don't know, for me, that sometimes just feels really inauthentic. And so that's where I'm starting, is I want to be a better friend to me. What that looks like for me is going to be reading books again and allowing myself to create space for me to do things that I love. I love learning. It is part of who I am. I really enjoy that. And so I'm getting back to having my quiet time and just investing in my reading. I'm also going to be going back on my solo dates. I have days where I'm alone because my mother-in-law is amazing and she comes once a week and gives me a day to myself, but I 99% of the time end up just working that entire day. I'm like, okay, I need to get back to my solo dates where I take myself out to dinner, I treat myself to a nice meal, and I sit there and I read my book like I did years ago. I want to date myself again. I want to meet this new version of me because I have changed so much has changed in my life, and I feel like I just need to re-meet myself. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode about finding an identity in this new season of life. Being a wife again, being a mom again, starting this podcast up again, figuring out my business and certain aspects of that out, working full time. Like there's all these new things. And so yeah, what I'm trying to say is start small with new people or start small by becoming a better friend to you. The next thing that I have on my list to do, and I haven't done this yet, but this might be very healing for you, and because I know it's going to be healing for me, this is an exercise that I do regularly, is whenever I'm struggling with something or I feel heartbroken about something, I imagine a version of myself in like kind of where I'm healed or where I'm totally redeemed from whatever that heartbreak is. I imagine myself there and I write myself a letter from the kind of like a mountaintop view that I would have on the valley of that, whatever it is I'm dealing with. And I write myself a letter from that mountaintop version of myself to that valley version of myself. And I thought about writing myself a letter from me right now to the 2 years ago when this happened, when I was confused and heartbroken and trying to make sense of what happened. Because I feel like that younger version of you needs to hear from you now. That she isn't crazy, that she's not dramatic, that she's not unlovable, that her heartbreak is okay to have. And everything that she feels, it's okay to feel. And writing her a letter. And I know that I'm going to say something like, you were misunderstood, and I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. I see you. I'm proud of the way that you held on to truth and love even when it was painful. And for some of you guys, maybe your friendship pain is from something that happened to you in like 5th grade. Write a letter to that 5th grade version of you. And I want you to just pour your love and understanding on that 5th grade you. And just sit with her. Sit with the version of you that is heartbroken or experiencing loss. There is a lot of healing in this. There's so much wisdom that's going to come out of you writing this letter. And I just can't wait I can already sense, like I have goosebumps. I can already sense there are some of you that because of this exercise, you're going to write me a DM in tears because of how redemptive and powerful that letter was to your younger self. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm doing, well, not the last thing, but the last thing in this podcast that I'll share with you is just a heart level prayer to God to bring friends into my life. Like, God, I want to trust again. I want real connection again. Would you gently bring people who are safe, steady, and reflect your love? I don't need perfect friends. I don't need people who will never misunderstand, but redemptive friendships, ones that grow something new in the space where things were broken. That is my prayer and my belief that that's going to happen for me. If you're in the Belle Collective, there's a couple of private podcasts that I'm creating for you guys and for us to continue this conversation. I think one of the important things is to think about the friendships that you hope to build next. Like, what qualities make someone feel safe to you? What do you want to feel in friendships? What kind of rhythm would feel good in a friendship for you? What do you want to give in your friendships? What's a red flag that you're going to trust yourself to walk away from next time? And I want to talk about in the Belle Collective, a lot of what I do within the collective is continuing conversations like from the podcast or continuing conversations from the workshops that we do of how can we take this a little bit deeper and make it so where we understand a concept to actually starting to make moves and create change. And the other thing that we'll do in the collective is I want to talk about rebuilding your confidence in your sense of self. If you've ever been wrongly accused or you've been misunderstood, it cuts deep, especially when people don't give us a chance to speak. It can make you question everything, your voice, your values, your intuition. And I just feel like this part is really important. So what are we going to do? How can we speak truth over ourselves daily? How can we reclaim our voices again? So again, I can't wait to continue this conversation. If you're interested in joining the Belle Collective, it is $47 for a monthly membership. You can also just jump into our quarterly workshops. They are, I believe this one coming up in April on the 16th is $97. And we're going to talk about overcoming people-pleasing tendencies. This has been a highly requested topic from the women in the Belle Collective. So if you're like, oh yes, I know that I say yes to people when I really want to say no. I know that I feel like I overextend myself so everyone else is comfortable, even at my own expense. Like, if those are some of the things that you struggle with, either jump into the collective, become a part of our community, see what it's all about, or just jump into the workshop itself and kind of, dip your toes in the water. Being that it's only $47 a month, you can just jump in for the month too and see what it's all about and make your decision from there. But either way, I just really want you to know that friendship loss is hard and it's a heartbreak that is just like a romantic heartbreak. There are things that we have to heal from, and it is okay to struggle with friendships. It's okay to pause and be like, hold on a second. I recognize this wall that I've put up, and I don't want it to be there. My deep desire is to have new friends and to continue to build depth in the friendships that I do have, but I've been holding back for fear that I'm going to get heartbroken again, or whatever that fill in the blank is for you. That desire is natural for us. It's so important for us to have community. And if you're feeling like I am, where you're ready to step into healing, you're ready to start slowly opening yourself up, go at your own pace, give yourself credit, and for the fact that you even want to open yourself up, like that says a lot about you. It says a lot about your heart and your character. So I just want to love you in this moment. I want to say I see you. I'm here with you. I'm going through the same thing as you. And I want to be a better friend to myself and to other women. And I know that these couple of steps are already helping me. So again, treat it like a breakup and heal. Give yourself the space to name it so that you can tame it. Name the false beliefs that it's created for you and figure out how you want to replace those with beliefs that are truer, kinder, and start small, whether it's with a new friendships or deepening your friendship with yourself. And then letting your past self know that she didn't deserve that, or you see her. Maybe the friendship loss was kind of your fault. Like, that you also still need to heal from that. You still need to forgive yourself for that too. There are friendship losses that I've had that I have to like take the responsibility for and forgive myself for. And then ask God to bring the right friends if that's your thing. It's also okay and you're welcome here if God and Christianity is not your thing too. However you want to think about it, ask God to bring the right friends gently, gently bring friends who are safe and steady and reflect His love. I hope that this blessed you today, and I'm so excited to see you back at the table next Thursday. We have some really awesome podcasts coming up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of like kind of what I'm filming. I get your input on what you guys want to hear and what's next. And I try to listen to you guys. So the friendship loss one was the most highly requested out of there were like 100 or so votes. And friendship loss was by far the winner. So I know that I'm not alone in this, and neither are you. Okay. Normally I have a video for these podcasts, but the video wasn't working and I ended up just recording in my car. So, sometimes, some weeks you just got to do what you got to do. But anyways, okay, I'm talking too much. I love you so much. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Thursday at the table. Love you. Bye.